I did not realize that. I got fat. Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be comparing my peak bodybuilding physique from about 7 months ago to my peak powerlifting physique that I did my first competition about 2 weeks ago on that, and to see which is healthier, which is more aesthetic, you know, what's better for strength all around, what should you shoot for, and things to keep in mind for both of these. So just to give you some stats, this was the day before my bodybuilding competition, so peak week, all throughout the week, cutting water, really dehydrated, depleted of glycogen and all that. I was 173 pounds. And then on the right side, just there's a couple days after my powerlifting competition, normal morning physique, about 192 pounds. So we got a 19-pound difference there. And that's not pure fat gain from there. We got to keep in mind, 173 pounds dehydrated. Normally I was about 176 and a half, so there's 3.5 pounds right there. And I'm guessing I was around 7.5% maybe on the left side. And then based on that, if I had gained 3 pounds of muscle over the 6 months after that, which hopefully I gained that much and I wasn't just all fat, I got a lot stronger, so I'm thinking I did. That would put me at around 14% on the right side. Once again, these are all guesses. Maybe I'm more or less near these. Let me know down in the comments what you think, because it is kind of subjective at some points. But the first point I want to make with this is be careful with bulking, because you're not going to magically put on a lot of muscle. As you see right here, this is only a 19-pound difference. With those manipulations, really, I only gained 16 pounds, and if 3 pounds of that was muscle, well, now there's only 13 to 14 pounds of fat that I gained. And depending on where you hold it, it can make a big difference. For me, there's not a huge difference in the legs. They're obviously softer, but definitely in the waist area, my lower back is where I put on a lot. And then of course, you know, around all the muscles aren't as defined, because you do get fat everywhere. But for me, I think it's mostly lower back, probably my butt too. And you can see there on my love handles area. And I trained hard throughout all this, like 5-6 days a week, pushing to failure constantly. I had a few injuries, some sicknesses along the way, but I was tracking my weight, gaining slowly. Like, you know, this is only gaining about 2 pounds a month. So even that, you're not gonna put on only muscle. Maybe if you're new, you could put on about 1 pound of muscle a month, but bulking will not magically make that happen any quicker. So which of these is healthier? It's a good question. As far as actual health markers are concerned, I don't have blood work to show between the two of these. I've never had blood work done as far as checking actual testosterone levels and everything else. I am natural. I mean, I take creatine, pre-workouts. If you think that's not natural, then, you know, whatever. But those are the two things I take pretty much every day, or, you know, when I work out for the pre-workouts. But I've never done my blood work, and I actually am planning on getting my blood work done soon, so I can see what my markers are right now at my peak, you know, average person looking a body type, and then do another bodybuilding show later this year and see, when I get down to those levels again, how much lower testosterone those types of things are, how much it really affects me as a natural. Because I didn't feel terrible on the left side, but it's definitely, you don't feel great when you get that lean. So appetite, you know, on the left, obviously really hungry pretty much constantly. As soon as I would eat, I'd be hungry within half an hour. If not when I finished eating, I would just want to eat more. But when you have a goal in mind, it's easy to stick to it till afterwards. You don't have a goal, it's easy to rebound a lot of weight. Whereas on the right side, I got to the point, I was gonna try to get up to 198 pounds, the top of my 90 kilogram weight class, to get as strong as possible for my meet. But when I got around 192, I wasn't tracking calories anymore. I was eating more junk food at the time, but I was having trouble just hitting my protein goals for the day because I did not feel like eating. I was just at the top of my genetic set point, I guess. You have a set point range of body fat where you feel pretty normal. You're not hungry all the time, where you're not starving all the time if you're on the leaner side. But I guess I was at the top end where my body's like, dude, you don't need any more. So I didn't push it. I didn't want to gain even more fat because it's not necessary. I'm not going to magically get stronger from that. And I actually have not done cardio in months because it got to the point where, like I was saying, I didn't feel like eating. I was getting worse at my swimming. I was getting heavier. It was harder swimming, and I should have kept with it because that's good for your heart, and I'm getting back into doing cardio now. But definitely make sure you keep with that because I'm out of shape as far as cardio goes. I started back doing more sets of 10 to 12 reps on stuff like squats, deadlifts, and man, it takes the breath out of me. It's taken a couple weeks just to get back into doing that normally, as opposed to doing a few heavy sets of like 3 to 5 reps. And of course, clothes feel different. I wear my uniform to work, button up my shirt, and it's like tighter on my neck. I can feel a difference there. So obviously you can get bigger clothes, but I'm at like the top end of what's comfortable for me. I could easily maintain this without tracking anything. I still track my protein to make sure I get enough to try to build some muscle, but I'm definitely at the top end and don't want to get bigger clothes, because I think now that I'm not trying to maintain that weight anymore, I'll naturally probably lose 3 or 4 pounds just from that. And then of course, which one is more aesthetic? Now this is very subjective. It depends on who you ask. For my wife, she likes me on the right side better. She said she didn't like me when I was all skinny for a bodybuilding show. I look like a skeleton, well, at least my face. You know, you see a big difference in the face. There, I definitely am fuller in my face, where on the left, it's like my cheeks are sunken in. And, you know, it depends on what you like. Obviously, I like bodybuilding, so I like the look on the left, but I also know that's not sustainable. So, you know, what do you think looks better? Do you like a super lean bodybuilding look or a stronger powerlifting look, somewhere in between? For me, around 185 pounds all last year was a sweet spot for me, where I had pretty defined muscles. I felt normal. I wasn't tracking stuff, just protein, and I felt just fine. I just didn't eat junk food like it took to kind of get to where I am on the right. And of course, lighting makes a big difference too. As you see here, my abs are definitely way more defined, obliques, and how you pose is gonna make a big difference there too. But shoulders stand out more on the left, triceps, the chest, definitely when you get fatter on your chest, it makes you look smaller, which is always funny to me. Like, I weigh 19 pounds more, but I actually look smaller to me as far as muscles are, because they're not as defined. Whereas the lighting's not really ideal in this setup. Like right here, my abs, it's not that great. Like, it looks fine on the left, obviously, because I was super shredded, but this is me, pretty much the same body fat, and based on the lighting here where it's coming in from the side of the garage, you can actually see my abs a lot better, and this is what I look like, more representative when I'm in the gym, or in my gym working out, and I can see in the mirror. So then when I recorded this and saw it, I was like, dang, I definitely got thicker than I thought. So keep in mind, lighting is a huge thing. And with the peak bodybuilding physique, I was really weak. I mean, I maintained most of my strength up until the last few weeks, and then it was just like, I was struggling to get 225 on bench for a few reps of touch and go reps, as opposed to now I'm pausing on them all with a lot better form, not just trying to get the weight up. And then at the competition, I got 260, almost 275 on the bench press. I didn't quite make that one up. But then with squatting, I think I was up to 255 for 5 reps on the squat. And then I was able to get almost 300 for 5 when I was training towards the show, and then maxed out at 347. I definitely could have done more, because that went up pretty quick. And then deadlifting, it just shot up. I remember I did 355 for 5 like a month before the show, and then I can do 405. I did 4 training, but I could have done more, but I was holding back because I didn't want to hurt myself leading into the powerlifting meet. But then I deadlifted 474, which was a huge PR for me. So, you know, did I get fat? No, I didn't. I don't feel like I got fat. Like, I literally don't care. I've gotten to the point where I realized no one really cares but me if I look super shredded, or if I'm like this. I'm not walking around with my shirt off. Yeah, sure, you go to the beach, but even then, someone might see you and think, dang, that dude's really cut. And then they're probably not gonna think about it anymore after that. Like, it's just you. You're the only one who really cares. And don't let the way your body looks like control your life and make you think your self-worth is nothing. If, oh, I'm fatter than I wanna be, so now I'm depressed. Who cares? Like, I'm gonna lose some weight, because one of my goals is getting back down to the 82.5 kilogram class, which is 182. So if I get back around 185, which was comfortable for me before I cut down for bodybuilding show and then bulked up for a powerlifting meet, that's comfortable for me. And then I can just cut a little bit of water, do a powerlifting show, and I'm probably gonna be able to break some state records for my age group based on what I did at my last one. So, you know, have a reason to for certain weights. Like, I wanna get shredded. For what? Like, what's the reason? If you want to do a bodybuilding show, sure, you need to get shredded for that. If there's a certain weight class you want to make for a sport, yeah, but don't feel like you need to get shredded, because you're not going to feel great. It can lower your testosterone a bunch if you get too low. You're not going to be able to build muscle if you're too lean, because your body's in a state of just trying to survive. So keep those things balanced, keep that in mind. And just be careful when you're bulking. Yeah, if you're too skinny, like obviously I needed to bulk from the left because that's too lean, but you know, 10 pounds from that probably would have been just fine, where I'd feel normal and I'd go about my life, you know, 10 to 12 pounds, not 20. So if you're thinking you're gonna go on a 30 to 40 pound bulk and put on all this muscle and you're natural, you're definitely gonna gain size, but it's probably not gonna be the kind you want. Then you're gonna take forever to have to lose 20 to 30 pounds of fat, because that's not a quick process. And if you lose it too quickly, you're gonna be losing muscle. So you're losing any benefit if you got of putting on extra muscle from a bulk. So do it slowly, have set points of I'm gonna go up this high and stay there, and come back down. Like I stayed 192 for like 3 months, all the way up to the show. And then, yeah, I'm good from there. I'm gonna go to my new goal, stay there, and have a reason for it. So, you know, let me know what you think. What type of sport do you like better? Do you compete in bodybuilding, powerlifting? After experiencing both, I like powerlifting more just because it's not subjective. Bodybuilding, it's like, oh, look at that guy. He looks good from this angle or that angle. And there's not clearly defined of this is what you need to be or look like. It's what the judges think, what they prefer. Whereas with powerlifting, you gotta squat a certain way, you gotta bench press, you gotta deadlift a certain way. And if you don't make it, it doesn't count. And you're competing against other people, but for me, I'm competing against myself because I made new PRs in the deadlift and the squat, bench press, almost there. But it was a lot of fun and I look forward to doing it some more. So have a reason for what you're doing. Keep your mind right. Don't get obsessed with stuff. Check out @Camber Fitness if you want to follow more of what I'm doing with powerlifting, bodybuilding, tips on eating, diet, all kinds of stuff. Since I am cutting down some, I'm gonna be putting out some more videos on how I'm dieting if you're interested in the type of things I eat to get the physiques that I have. It's really simple. I eat a lot of the same stuff every day. And even fast foods, I've got series on what you can eat at fast food places and other restaurants to be within your calorie limit for whatever you're trying to do while still building muscle. So lots of stuff there. Post any questions you have below and I'll see y'all in the next one. Hit that like button.